How you doing?
All right, how's it going?
Good. What are you up to?
Good, just working on a project.
Working on a project?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have like an ID or anything to take a look at?
Oh, no, in this day and age with, identity theft the way it is, I just rather not give it.
I'm just wanting to make sure that we document everything properly.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go about my business.
Oh, okay.
Have a good day.
You have a good day.
If you ever needed an additional reason to not give the police your identification, then this would be it, folks. I want you to meet a woman. Her name is Lena. Lena was in the unfortunate predicament that she had to bail out a relative of hers who got himself locked up a little while back in Los Angeles. So she went to do that, did the right thing, and everything was fine. And a short time later, she noticed that one of her credit cards were missing.
I was fired up because I don't like injustice.
Lena Ritz's troubles started on July 16th, although she wouldn't know the extent of them until later. On that Sunday, she went to the LAPD detention center in downtown LA to bail out a relative on an unrelated charge. A couple of days later, she was going through this phone case where she keeps her credit cards when she noticed something wrong. Her debit card was missing. She discovered someone was using her debit card to buy expensive items. She went into overdrive.
So I logged on to my online bank account and I noticed a very large transaction at a furniture store. And I thought, this is very weird.
Lena called her bank customer service representative over and over again, but she says she got no assurances that Citibank would cover her losses or even investigate. In fact, they pointed an accusatory finger at her, saying that she must have made the charges because a debit card requires a PIN. They referred it to local police. Lena says she tried reaching the LAPD a dozen times. Again, no interest in helping her.
When the detectives wouldn't do anything, I thought to myself, where do I go from here?
So Lena turned relentless investigator. She went to every store where her card was used. She tracked down receipts with dates and times. She begged, cajoled, and convinced some of the stores to give her the security video of her card being used by the suspect.
Home Depot was very helpful. They sent me clips of him using it, and I asked for it to be time-stamped. There's a security team at IKEA, and they've got great cameras that followed the man around and saw him not only using my card.
Weeks had passed. Thousands of dollars had been charged to her missing card, and no break. But then Lena enlarged the suspect photo, and finally, it hit her like a ton of bricks. Remember when we told you she had to go downtown to bail out a relative? The suspect, the guy on the store surveillance video, looked exactly like the friendly cop who handled her intake that emotional day at the detention center.
I put it together and I said, this actually looks a lot like the police officer that took my stuff through security that I met at the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Not only did Lena have photos of the suspect, Officer Edmund Bababians, she had a photo of the suspect's car and a partial plate. Suddenly, the LAPD was urgently calling her.
Gosh, I remember the moment that they confirmed that it was him. I was a mix of emotions, to be honest. A part of me felt elated, also relieved, because I thought that meant, okay, I'm getting my money back and justice is going to be served.
Well, as far as Lena's bank, Citibank emailed me today and said that they are investigating the matter. Lena says almost $2,000 was debited from her account. As of tonight, that money has not been returned yet.
So, moral of the story, kids, is that if you really want something to be taken care of the way that it should be taken care of, take matters into your own hands. You can't sit back and just wait for LAPD to do their thing, especially if they found out that it was one of their own. Do you think that they're going to rush to tell you? I don't think so. My money is on they're not going to do that. So always, I think a lot of people don't realize the resources and what you can actually accomplish by doing things like that yourself. Little story, unrelated, but it kind of reminds me of the situation. I had some car problems the other day, and I went and got a couple of quotes, and I noticed that the quotes were pretty ridiculous, and they just didn't make a lot of sense to me. It had to do with a fuse and like a battery clamp, and something else. And the quote was $1,500. And I'm just like, this is some bullshit. So I decided I was going to do my own research. I did a little bit of work. I looked into it. I watched some videos. I called AutoZone, I believe it was, and they do free testing. And so I did my due diligence, come to find out that all I had to do was pay $60 for the parts, and I could do it myself because it was very easy. So when it comes to matters of like, police matters and things like that, I think there's a lot of things that we can do on our own as well, where we don't have to call 911. And anybody who watches my channel knows that you can call 911 or call police to help, and they almost always 100% of the time make matters a lot worse than they need to be. So with this situation here, it bothers me, but it's not incredibly surprising that the cops weren't really going to do anything about it. But I'm just incredibly proud that Miss Lena went and did her thing. She got the evidence that she needed. She took the time because she has her, an vested interest in finding out who did this. So after nobody would help her out, she went and did what she had to do, and she took that information to the press. So they released a story on it, and once they released that story, of course, her phone started ringing. Now, a lot of these news outlets, they're not letting you know the officer who was arrested, but I will. So his name is Officer Edmund Babaranis. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Edward Babaranis. So yeah, I don't know if he stole it or if she left it or dropped it. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, he got his filthy hands on it and went on a little shopping spree, decided he wanted some furniture, some home items, things like that. And then I asked myself, I'm like, you work for LAPD, you probably make some pretty good money. So I looked that up as well. And last year alone, he made upward almost $200,000 with pay, overtime, benefits, things like that. And so, I asked myself, what kind of a person would do that? Somebody who makes plenty of money, like why would you risk everything? Why would you risk your career? Why would you do this when you can clearly afford to get these items yourself? So I started looking it up a little bit, and some people they steal people steal for many reasons. Some people steal for opportunities, some people steal out of necessity. But one thing that this said here, when I looked this up, it said that some people, they steal just to steal. Another thing that I thought that was very interesting that I found out was throughout a lot of studies that the majority of people who steal, they are actually people who are well-to-do and they don't have the need to do it, but more of the entitlement and desire. Sound familiar? Now, according to this, says, unfortunately, some thefts occur simply because the person has the opportunity. Maybe they get a sense of excitement from taking what's not theirs. Also sounds familiar. Perhaps they see it as a challenge. They may steal out of greed when they already have plenty. So that's very interesting because those traits are very common with the career field of law enforcement. So there is a correlation there. So your items are never safe. You might think they're safe and you're confiding in a police officer to help you out. But one thing I can tell you, I'm so glad that she went and did her due diligence, did what she had to do to take care of this, and then she took it to the press. Just imagine if she would have took this to LAPD and they actually investigated and they found out that it was one of their own that was stealing and shopping with her credit card. Do you think they would have been as transparent without the pressure from the outside influence and without us knowing the deal? I'm not sure. My money's on no. So anyways, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to link her Instagram in the comments as well, or in the description of the video. Check it out and make sure while you're here that you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.